You're too close to me, bro. Your head's huge.
Hey, I'm John and this is Vanessa. We're both Vietnamese, well, technically, but I feel like Vietnam has kind of been like a distant relative, someone we never met before. So with zero language skills, no itinerary, and basically nothing in our bank accounts, we decided it was a great idea to visit the motherland, and absolutely nothing could have prepared us for what happened next. So this is our love letter to Vietnam, to its people, its amazing food, and to all the memories that we'll cherish for life. We landed in Ho Chi Minh City pretty late, and stepping out of the airport was a slap in the face. It was so hot and muggy and everybody was everywhere, but quickly we were on our way to my uncle's house, and waiting for us at home was my aunt's famous gan chua, which is sweet and sour soup. I've always just assumed that as soon as I touched down in Vietnam, I would be judged. Maybe it's because I have terrible Vietnamese skills, or maybe the fact that I do content creation full time, or the one that never fails, maybe because I'm vegan. That one always triggers someone. But honestly, we couldn't have been more wrong. My Aunt Yisao greeted us as if we'd never been apart, and it gave us a certain sense of comfort being in a place that we'd never been to.
Thai garlic bread. What is this called?
Chả giò.
Oh yeah, chai.
Nobody in Vietnam waits to start the day. We were up very early and headed to the grocery store, but we've never been on mopeds before, so I kind of felt like that scene where Aladdin's like, "Do you trust me?" Needless to say, we had no choice. And hanging onto my uncle's belly for the first time, praying for dear life that we don't crash, is probably something I'll never forget. Something else I'll probably never forget is the grocery store, which is honestly one of our favorite activities when traveling. Let me know in the comments if it's the same for you. I feel like it's a very adult thing to do. They did have a lot of cool things, but one thing that was not cool, I had no idea that live bugs would be chilling with the hot food. No thanks, even if it's free. After stocking up, we visited my grandma.
I'm gonna bite you. It looks like it's pregnant. Definitely pregnant. I'm scared of these dogs after I saw what Tiger did to you. Cái gì đó?
Cốc.
Cốc.
Cốc hả? Đó, xong rồi vậy này để cho anh chụp hình.
The black one can talk. What does she say?
Sometimes she look like she can do.
Oh.
Come inside nữa cho you can go in there cho walk in here. Ngoài đây thì bà ngoại can pick up that one nè. Đó bà ngoại hái cho nó chụp hình. Cái trái này to.
Wow. Bự quá.
Watching her attend to the plants, I realized something. Do you ever feel like you're always scrolling, hesitating, never really fully committing? But here my grandma was doing something so simple and finding pure joy in growing food with our own hands. Without saying many words to me, she really had me thinking about change.
Famous farmer.
Really making me want to discover something new, something that gives me joy. The first place Yisao wanted us to visit was my grandpa's old workplace actually, which is Rex Hotel, which actually looks really bougie these days. Good for you, Grandpa. Witnessing the city's architecture kind of felt like you were stepping through the pages of history. We also stopped by Bantan Market, which was super fun. It's like a flea store, and we had more jia because it was freaking hot that day, and jia is honestly your best friend in Vietnam. Although I think it did give Vanessa some diarrhea issues. Make sure you bring some diarrhea meds.
It's not as strong tasting as I thought it was going to be. It's a smell. It's pretty creamy.
Later that night, we found ourselves at Hot Pot. This place was super good. They had so many different sauces, lots of protein options, a ton of mushrooms, and a huge pile of noodles.
That one have a two side. This side sweet soup, and in this one sour soup.
And the broth, let me tell you, that was probably the best hot pot broth we've ever had.
Very good. Yummy, very sour. Oh, very delicious.
As soon as I took my first bite, I already knew this was going to be one of many unforgettable meals in Vietnam. Because although the food was spectacular,
That's good.
the best meals aren't even necessarily the tastiest. It's really all about the company that you keep, the warmth that they provide, and the way that they make you feel. And I love how Yisao fully embraced her job as food influencer. She even made my scary looking uncle laugh the entire time. Not with us, but at us, of course.
Hi.
We took a flight to Halong Bay, but Yisao did not warn us about how misty and frigid it would be in the northern regions of Vietnam. Meanwhile, she was just chilling in her windbreaker.
Nice.
We spent the afternoon hiking up a hill. It was quite tiring, but very scenic, so well worth it. But what we didn't know was that we would end up at the mouth of a cave, and stepping in felt like entering a different universe. Wet, I'm scared I'm gonna slip.
Go slow. Be careful. The formations are so cool.
Sometimes, the best memories are the ones that are never planned. They kind of just happen when you're fully present. And while we were there, we picked up a bunch of snacks for the road trip. And what was really cool was how the vendors spoke to Yisao. It was almost as if they were old friends. One stall even sold us vegan jalua, which is vegan ham, and another stall was even more helpful. They took our jalua and made 100% custom vegan banh mi. This is actually the one time I was thankful that food and health safety wasn't really commonplace in Vietnam. Otherwise, this probably wouldn't have been possible. But what was commonplace was how friendly everyone was. And speaking of kindness, our taxi driver drove us for 15 hours, and he even let us snack in his car.
Crispy. Banh mi is good.
Did I mention that this banh mi was probably $1 Canadian? And then there's this dog. We were walking along Lady Buddah taking our pictures when we stumbled across her. She was weak and lethargic, and no one was paying attention to her. And when she looked at me, it almost felt like as if she knew that I knew. I wish I could have done more. Even if we weren't vegan, it still would make me upset to see these animals being treated the way they are. And the fact that different countries treat different animals in a different way. It's a reminder that compassion isn't always convenient, but it's definitely worth practicing. Even for a small act of kindness. Anyways, we found a tasty touristy spot called Roots, and they had some really good smoothie bowls, Beyond Burgers with pineapple inside, and this delicious whole food candy bar.
Most of the stuff here is raw. Ooh, let's taste the Snickers. Coconut, dates, cacao, and Himalayan salts. Maca, Ethiopian coffee, peanut butter, cacao nib, granola, and shredded coconut. It's like a coffee, fruity smoothie bowl.
So juicy.
Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Oh, I just got the bun.
One of the things about Viet food is that I love how they're not afraid of textures. Take, for example, this jia. It feels like a sweet snot in your mouth.
Two things are gonna have diarrhea in Vietnam. This is another jia. This one has big mochi balls and pieces of ginger in it.
It's extra gloopy, and the mochi's extra steamy. And then we went to go visit Marble Mountain and grab some Viet Pizza. So basically crispy rice paper, grilled, and has a bunch of sriracha and mayo, and it's really good.
Yummy pizza, very good.
It's really crispy corn and sriracha, fried onion, and scallions.
Then we headed to Hanoi, which quickly became our favorite place in all of Vietnam.
Mi Quang. Am I saying it right? Crispy. Crunchy.
Ở đây còn người ăn chay trường không đó chị ơi.
What is that?
Ở đó là sốt á, soya sauce.
Soy sauce?
She design something put in there. But
Tofu? Vegan fish sauce?
had a little bit thôi, ít thôi. Đây.
Peanut. How do you pronounce the name? Le Hoi?
Lễ hội.
Le Hoi?
Lễ Hoi.
Mua Lê Hậu, bánh mì chay Lê Hậu. Lễ hội. Lê hả? Lê. Last name Lê là name.
Oh,
Lê
name.
hội á. Họ Lê. Họ Lê.
Y tên của chị luôn chứ không có
Lê hội. Lê hội là her name.
chay Lê Hậu.
Oh, that's her name.
Lê hội name mà. Lê hội. Lê hội. Bánh mì chay Lê hội.
Đúng rồi.
Bánh mì chay
Đi
Lê
đâu
hội.
về Việt Nam đó ăn.
Biết mà you don't know this name là đây.
Lễ Hoi. The sauce is good and the toppings are really good too.
In the daytime, Hanoi is beautiful, but in the night, it completely changes. The lanterns light up the city, the night markets are bustling, and the canals reflect the beautiful hue of the lanterns. It was something truly magical, something out of a storybook. We took a lift to Bana Hill, but it was really foggy, so we couldn't see anything past 2 meters.
This is so scary. These are my last words. Someone buy a cute from downstairs for me.
Afterwards, we stopped at a random GS spot with actually a ton of vegan options. We tried Rao Gao Le, which is coconut jelly topped with durian, and Dao Hu Sao Ring, which is durian tofu. Definitely an acquired taste, but worth trying.
That's tofu mixed with something.
Later, we flew back to Ho Chi Minh City and indulged in some goi and ben phuong. And then there's ba la lat, which is probably my favorite ever meat dish. It's basically beef wrapped with betel leaves, and a lot of people say that betel leaves smell weird, and they're probably right, but I think weird and good can exist in the same sentence, right? So we're back in Ho Chi Minh City, and we decided to go all out. It was going to be an all-food day. We're here at Kashew Cheese. I got a cafe sidak. The coffee in Vietnam is insanely strong. Hello! Hello, gremlins looking for food. This is the absolutely loaded cashew red pesto, mozzarella, aged cheese. It looks insane. Oh my god, it's absolutely delicious. That cheese, very, very decadent. Cheese for days. The whole thing just coats your mouth.
The aged cheese is a bit funky, which I love. Very creamy, texture's on point. All of the toppings on the sandwich are really yummy, but it doesn't take away from the cheese.
These are the vacation days that I really live for. No itinerary, just walking around, discovering good food, and having a good time with Vanessa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sal. I think it's so important on a vacation to really step back and experience the moment that you're having. Not just constantly running around, sightseeing and discovering new things, having so many high expectations. Just experience.
Really creamy. Perfect for a hot day, aka every day.
But since Yisao has designated herself as our trip planner, relaxation has not been high on the priority. She actually decided today would be a perfect day for a Mekong Delta tour. And before hopping on the bus, we grabbed some Vietnamese grilled banana sticky rice. This thing was drenched in coconut sauce. It was crispy, dense, chewy, also fragrant from the bananas, and also the smoky charcoal was a nice touch. Another funny story, we actually found so many hairs inside of our friggin' rice. And when we told the vendor, she laughed so much for trying to make a complaint to HR. My uncle is very thoughtful. When he arrived at the tour bus, he brought us vegan banh mi, which is filled with some really unique ingredients. And let me know if you guys have ever seen this Nepal palm fruit. It looks so alien, but we kept seeing it all over the islands. One of my favorite parts of this tour was when we were promised some live cultural music and some exotic fruits, but what we really got was fruits that we had already tried before and people singing happy birthday in a funny accent. At first I was thinking, what the hell, man? I got gypped. But later I was like, oh my god, why are they doing this? It's actually pretty funny. Hi, Sao.
What I think là you can have đó thì nó cái đêm lòng Mary.
Spun coconut juice or milk.
Like milk, coconut milk.
Something they absolutely delivered on was their coconut candies. This stuff was mind-bogglingly good. You have to come here and check it out.
Tastes wonderful. They have a sample for you to have a try.
While everybody else grabbed 1 or 2 pieces and left, Vanessa and I were stuck there eating 30 pieces each, and the whole tour basically left us behind. The final stop on the tour was across the entire island, and they used horses for transportation, probably mostly for novelty, but as vegans, it didn't sit right with us, so we got the local homie to give us a ride on his motorbike. We got very lost, and the one house we pulled up for directions had dogs chase us out of their estate. I'll never forget that moment. I'm so glad we took the literal and physical beaten path. We were probably 20 minutes late for lunch, but I think it was worth it. We sat down for a huge selection of food. Fried rice, fried tofu, and probably my favorite side dish in all of Vietnam, morning glory with fried garlic. If you're going to Vietnam, please try this. It's such a sleeper item, you wouldn't even think of it, but damn is it good. Later that night, Yisao had cooked us up something really special.
You know, I used to not like herbs.
Why?
I don't know, bò kho, which is one of my favorite all-time Vietnamese stews. And as I took my first bite, all of my childhood memories flooded back. My mom ladling over hot broth over all of our bowls of soup. And then it struck me. I'd spent all these years looking for new experiences when I kind of forgotten the ones that originally shaped me. I definitely need to visit my mom more. I don't know who needs to hear this, but did you know that by the time you're 18, you've actually already spent 90% of the time you'll ever spend with your parents? And if this trip has taught me anything, it's that we can't take time for granted.
Không có chi. Chú bảo thing là when you eat, you should to make a stop, then you can eat. No. Because so many change life for soy bò funny. No.
Sticky and mung bean. It's a bit sweet and chewy.
And of course, some Viet coffee. Very strong.
If you keep a long one, you can make a 4 or 5 more, then you can do what else. Right.
Banana leaf gun. Bang?
But, yeah.
It was our last morning in Vietnam, and Yisao made it a point for us to witness her live, fresh tofu making skills. And completely entranced by her tofu making skills, I began to think, in the West, we're always obsessed with more. More money, more productivity, more everything. But in Vietnam, life moves differently. It's never about what you have.
But it'll splash and be careful because it's hot and you don't want to burn yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hot. That we
Very sharp.
Tasting of tofu, first time ever.
Mmm.
Fresh,
Good.
That's good, Yisao.
silky texture. We really get the soy flavor here.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
For our final meal, we went all out and headed out to our first ever fully vegan buffet. Everything was pretty good, but our favorite were these Benn got mini crispy tart-like rice cakes covered in fish sauce. I feel like you're seeing a pattern now, what we like here. Also, their dessert tofu and DIY station was also pretty good. I think it's funny how the best moments often come when we least expect them. Without planning it, this meal was a culmination of all the food that we had in Vietnam. And I just knew that these memories would stay with us long after we left. It only felt natural for our last activity to be spent with our extended family. So we're often caught up in a race to make more, do more, and prove more. And it's not about that. It's about who you're with and how you treat each other. Especially when I feel like life's starting to move too fast. I've learned that in reality, the quiet moments spent with loved ones, sharing a simple meal, or having a friendly encounter with a stranger is what truly sticks with us.
You get to see outside.
Because sometimes change isn't about having more. It's about finding joy in what's already there. And that's the mindset that we'll be bringing home with us. And I hope that some part of you also does too.
Thank you for watching. Bye bye and see you again.
Yeah, see you again.